I'm Molly, and I'm going to inform you on why Christians like myself celebrate the holiday Easter. First of all, for those who are not familiar with this Christian holiday, it is a holiday in which Christians celebrate Jesus, God's Son, who arose from the dead. Easter is called a movable feast because it does not fall on a set day each year. Christian churches in the West celebrate Easter on the first Sunday, following the full moon after the vernal equinox on March 21st. That means that Easter is observed anywhere between March 22nd and April 25th each year. However, Orthodox Christians use the Julian calendar to calculate when Easter will occur and typically celebrate the holiday a week or two after the Western churches, which follow the Gregorian calendar. If you think about it, Easter is an odd name for a holiday, so where did it originate? Historians do not seem to know where it originated. However, they seem to believe it originated from the Old High German word Estrum, which eventually became Easter in English. Some also wonder when Easter took place. The crucifixion took place in what scholars believe to be 30 to 33 AD, so Christ was about 30 to 33 when he died on the cross. He was dead for 3 nights and 3 days until he arose to walk upon the earth for 40 days until he ascended into heaven to be with his Father. There are events prior to Easter or the rising of Christ that are also important to the Christian religion, and I am going to explain each of those and go into detail about why they are significant. 40 days before Easter, Lent takes place. And Lent was observed in the 4th century as a 40-day period between Ash Wednesday and Easter. Its focus was self-examination and self-denial, and Christians used fasting in the early years as a visible demonstration of that process. Over the centuries, Catholics have relaxed some of the strict fasting rules. Today, only Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, and all Fridays during Lent are considered fasting days. Catholics over the age of 14 are to refrain from eating meat. The alternative is often fish. Palm Sunday is another important event that recognizes the Sunday before Easter. Palm Sunday celebrates Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. The reason they call it Palm Sunday stems from the fact that when Jesus rode a donkey into Jerusalem, a huge crowd of people in the city spread out palm branches on the ground before him as a sign of his kingship. Today, Christians often celebrate Palm Sunday in a joyous, triumphant manner during worship services, emphasizing the glory of Jesus Christ. Some churches, like my own, have palm branches on display in front of the church and in the sanctuary to commemorate the event that took place that day. Maundy Thursday is the observance to take place the Thursday before Easter. The night before Jesus was crucified, he had a Passover supper with his disciples. Passover is a Jewish holy day that celebrates God's deliverance of the Israelites from their slavery in Egypt. After supper, Jesus knew that would be his final opportunity to instruct his disciples before the crucifixion, so he talked at length about his purposes, what his followers should do in response, and the promise of the Holy Spirit to come. He then washed his disciples' feet. Washing someone's feet in that day was a example of servanthood. So for Jesus Christ to do that was a great, meaningful experience. Finally, he gave bread and wine to his disciples and asked them to partake in remembrance of him. The act of partaking of bread and wine today is called communion. Good Friday is the last observance to take place before Jesus' rising. It marks the day in which Christ was crucified on the cross for the sins of the world. Good Friday is obviously not a good day to remember for Christians, but its name is a reminder that humans can only be considered good because of what happened on that day. Some believe that its name was originally God's Friday, which over the years became its present name, Good Friday. In Germany, Christians call it Quiet Friday because from noon on Friday until Easter morning, church bells remain silent. Christians on other parts of Europe call it Great Friday or Holy Friday. Good Friday is a day of mourning and sorrow over the sacrificial death of Jesus Christ. It's also a day of gratitude for the supreme sacrifice that he made. By far, Easter is the single most important holiday of the Christian Church. It celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the central event in Christianity. To Christians, the resurrection backs up Jesus' claim that he had the authority to die for the sins of the world and the power to come back to life again. It also gives hope to Christians that they too will experience a resurrected life in heaven.